today?
Yeah, good. It's good to see an excellent turnout at today's rally.
And how do you feel about being here?
Oh, really motivated. Today is a special day because we moved into restrictions. So this is a day we need to support rallies.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So what brings you here today?
We're just out showing support because we're very anti-mandating vaccines. I believe that people should be given their own choice to choose which way they want to go with regards to their medical health, and it's imperative that we hold that up even in the pandemic.
I agree. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us. What do you feel like your hope for the future is going to be?
I just want people to be able to have their choice, to be able to not have to worry about work or not have that infringed upon for a pandemic, especially because we still hardly know anything about it. They're releasing new variants every day. There's still not enough known to be causing this much of a stir or to be implementing such heavy mandates upon people. Normal everyday lives have been affected. So I think that I'd love more information before being affected in this way,
Wonderful. Thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Easy as, thank you.
Thank you.
It's very important for us to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this area. And I've been coming to this forum handy in this common ground for a long time, holding space here under cultural practices. It's an honor to have our brothers join me here today, and I'd just like to bring Brother Randall up, who's part of the traditional custodial group of this area, to be able to welcome us here. Thank you.
Unigina. Uramuli. For many of you who don't know me, Wobuna Banbari, Japanganka is my traditional name. But here today, we marched as a part of this rally for a special reason. The flag we've been carrying, many people have asked us what this flag is. I'm here to let you know this here flag represents 21 tribes who have already set up their sovereign governments. Just as a part of it, we've been watching everybody, and we are so glad that we can come along to support you. So here today, and we know Brother Joy's been holding the fort for all of us, so we're here today to let you know we're coming. We're coming to support you. With that, I'm going to acknowledge our Moiti, our Widaroo and Jangaroo, our Moiti group that starts from Bidjara, Charleville, Wadja, Woorabenda, Durrumbul, Rockhampton, coming all the way through Uwibara, Mackay, coming through to Gia, Naro, Whitsunday, Proserpine, Uru, here, right through. We've got Walgarukaba, we got Mumbra, we got Nawagi, we got Gia, Warrangu, Wagamay, all the way through to Jittabul, out west to Gudjala, Urundali, and Gugabaden. All of those are a part of the tribes that come and descend here for a special ceremony. And these are our tribes of the Widaroo and Jangaroo. We welcome you all on country because that's what it's all about, coming together to share one common goal, freedom.
So as our laws, our people, our country has been worked on and lived and sustained by the song lines, the energy, the movements, the vibrations, I'm just going to sing one song for you here. Now, this song is about bringing all the children home. Yeah? Gingala balay ngaji ya bumidya ngaji ya ban mindigay bagar bara ngaji. This song was actually given to me through the wind. The rhythm, the sound, and also the movements were created to this dance by the younger people of this area. So I'm just gonna sing this song here for you. Can I put it up there?
Thank you, Justine. Welcome, everybody. Are you glad to be here? Well, you should be. The first thing I want to say is there's a quote by a famous gentleman. His name's Winston Churchill. And he was quoted as saying that never before in the course of human history have so many owed so much to so few. Now, there's a lot of people here, but compared to the population of Townsville, it's only a few. And I want to congratulate each and every one of you for being here today. Give yourselves a hand. The theme of today's event is uniting for the right to choose. And I don't normally speak from notes, I speak from the heart. And I just want to read something out to you that I heard about 25 years ago, and it resonated with me, and I think about it a lot. We do not choose to be born. We do not choose our parents. We do not choose our historical epoch or the country of our birth or the immediate circumstances of our upbringing. We do not choose in most cases to die, nor do we choose the time or conditions of our death. But within all the realm of this choicelessness, we do choose how we will live. Courageously or in cowardice, honourably or dishonourably, with purpose or adrift. We decide what is important in our life and what is trivial. We decide what makes us significant is either what we do or what we refuse to do. No matter how indifferent the universe may be to our choices and decisions, those choices and decisions are ours to make. We decide and we choose. As we decide and choose, so are our lives formed, and in the end, this forms our destiny. This is what choice is all about. Thank you. Well, in the last 2 years, we've seen a lot of our choices impacted. And I'm not going to stand here and lecture each and every one of you and list them all off because we're all aware of them. The choice to get or not get a vaccine, the choice to assemble, the choice in how we dress, for goodness sake. If you want to go somewhere, even today, you've got to wear a face mask if you want to go indoors. The choose to congregate, the choose to spend time with our families, the choice to hug one another and just be together and assemble like this has been threatened by maniacal, whatever you got to say that word, dictators who are, in power because of a corrupt two-party preferred system of government. And that's what we have to change, I believe. And thinking about those choices and freedoms that are being threatened every day in our lives, I want just to go back a little bit to when I was in the police force. And as an investigator, we were trained to ask fundamental questions in the course of an investigation. We'd ask questions like who, why, what, where, when, how, to try and get to the truth. I want to focus your attention today on one of those questions, and that question is why. Each of us have had some of our choices and freedoms impacted within the last 2 years, and I believe that's why we're here today. I want you to think about your reason why. Why are you here? What is it that matters so much to you? I think some of you are here just probably because it's a good time to hang out. Maybe you got dragged along in the crowd. I don't know. I think most of you are here because you want to make a difference. Maybe you just want to support everybody else who's here, or maybe there's something really personal to you that you don't want to see go on. I think it all comes down to just enforcing our right to choose. Everybody wants three things: something to do, someone to love, and something to look forward to. And we are here today gathered because we want to create a better future to look forward to. Is that right? I think it is. They said I only had 5 minutes. I probably used up most of that. I'm not sure. But there's only so many things you can say in 5 minutes. I want to give you some things to take away with. When you leave here today, think about that reason why. Why are you here? And make a commitment to yourself to keep turning up. It's numbers that have got us into this mess. Numbers have allowed our corrupt two-party preferred system to install people who dare call themselves leaders into positions of power where they think that they can rule over us like lords and serfs, and they can't. It is immoral. Many believe it's illegal, and we need to keep fighting until we get the justice we deserve. Now, there is a finish line. And you know, as you go away today, if you take some information, if you think about that reason why, and you make a conscious, determined decision to stay focused on the finish line. This is just a journey, and a lot of us are quite new to this. I myself have only been researching all about this probably for the last 12 months, since most of the decisions that were coming out of our governments didn't even make sense. But there is a finish line, and you've got to stay focused on that. You've got to stay focused on what it is that what is important to you. And in thinking about that, I just want to tell you a little bit of a story about a guy by the name of Bob Whelan. Bob Whelan, in 1969, was an American US serviceman serving in Vietnam. He and his platoon were on patrol, and they stumbled into a minefield. One of his fellow soldiers stepped on a mine and was blown in half. Bob Whelan rushed to help that man, and in rushing to render assistance, he too stepped on a mine and he lost both his legs. Now, Bob Whelan went on, that was in 1969. Beyond that, he actually became a marathon runner. And you think, my goodness me, how did a man with no legs become a marathon runner? This was way before the days of those prosthetic limbs that the Paralympians run on in those days, in today. So how Bob Whelan ran was he would pick his body up on his two hands, swing his torso forward, pick his body up, swing his torso forward, pick his body up, swing his torso forward. 26 miles on his hands. He finished last in the New York Marathon in 1986. He finished last then in the Los Angeles Marathon 2 years later. He started a day before everybody else, and he finished 2 days after everybody else, completing the 26.2 mile event. When he crossed the finish line, there was a few reporters there and his family, and a few claps were given and cheers. And one of the reporters went over to Bob Whelan, and he knelt down beside him and he said, "Bob Whelan, you're an incredible athlete. You've just created history in being the second person to finish a marathon on your hands." While he was speaking, Bob Whelan was taking his leather gloves off, and his hands were bloody, and they were swollen and obviously in a lot of pain. And the reporter said to him, he knelt down beside him and said, "My God, Bob, how did you ever stand the pain?" And Bob Whelan said, my hands only hurt when I took my eyes off the finish line." Keep your eyes on the finish line, stay in the journey and keep turning up. Thanks very much.
Hello. My name is Deana Finkelstein. That's okay. And I'm a mother, a daughter, a sister, a partner, and a friend. I'm a high school teacher. I'm a second mother, a relationship counsellor, a negotiator, a peacemaker, and a safe place. The blood that runs through me is that of a Sephardic Jew on my mother's side and an Ashkenazim Jew on my father's side. Although I am a non-practicing Jew, my blood runs deep, and intergenerational trauma, I can promise you, runs deeper. My 3 teenage children share that, along with their proud Papua New Guinean culture, with a little Torres Strait Islander thrown in. My youngest daughter is a First Nations warrior woman, descending from the Juru people, and her country is from the Bowen to Mackay region here in North Queensland. Their blood also runs pure and deep. And intergenerational trauma, again, I can promise you, runs deeper. I wanted to share my story today for all the people who feel like they're stuck in the middle. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. The people who are in the middle and they don't know what to do. I don't have the answer for you. I actually don't even have the answer for myself yet. But I want you to know that you're not alone. This is a confusing, conflicting time for all of us. Personally, I'm stuck between standing up for my children and myself and showing them that you speak up for what's right no matter what. And being able to afford to put food in their mouths. I'm also conflicted between showing my students, by way of example, that being a critical and creative thinker means looking outside the box for ways to do things and always being there for them. Because I've always told and shown my students I'm always there for them no matter what. How do I just walk away from that? In my life, I've been no stranger to discrimination and segregation. I remember my sister and I being the only kids sitting outside during religious education lessons because of my family's religious views. The door was always locked behind us. I also remember going to family events with all the Jewish traditions and not knowing what was going on, and family members looking at us funny and whispering, all because my parents chose a different path for us, in spite of our Jewish race giving us every right to be there. Then there was my parents' choices around how they raised us, in terms of the medical choices that they made for their family. My mother had a severe reaction to a vaccination when she was young, and it plagued her all her life until she was able to clear the physical symptoms as well as the cause through alternative means. This led them on a journey as to how they wanted to raise us and what they were allowing to be put into our young bodies. However, society doesn't often want to know how people have come to certain choices. They don't see past the mainstream narrative. So I learned very early on that it was best to just not speak up, as people were not so accepting. When it came to having my own children, I followed a similar path on my parents, on how I have raised them, and so far, other than way too many broken bones, a few colds and flus, my children are healthy and happy. But again, often people don't want to hear about how I came to make my parenting choices, just that it seems foreign to them. Over the last couple of weeks, I've cried many tears and have many moments of anger. I've also been given advice by the two wisest men I know. My two wise for his years partner and my dad. And I wanted to share that advice with you all in case it helps you too. While talking about my options and lack of choices currently, my partner said to me, you know, sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture. You need to keep fighting this war, and I'm with you 100%. You need to fight, but you need to fight the ones that are worth fighting. That really made me stop and think, and I hope it makes you stop and think too. Give yourself time to have clarity and a clear path as to what battles you are willing to fight right now to reach your long-term goals. Because many people together can reach a long-term goal, but one person can't fight all the battles on their own. And you are certainly not on your own. My dad, who is the healthiest 72-year-old man I have ever met, regularly recites this Arab proverb to me when I ask him for advice when I don't know what to do about something. He says, trust in God, but tie up your camel. So stick to your morals, listen to your gut, follow God's word if that's something you're inclined to do, but make sure you're also doing the work in the background to ensure that whatever path you choose from here on in is a path you've carved yourself and not just one that has happened to you. So do what you need to do, stick to your morals, do what's best for your family and yourself. Oh, and also switch off mainstream media. Thank you.